Now, we are keen to finish within this month. Now, the probable exam dates, therefore, will be 18th or 19th of this month. That is about 10 days from now. That is enough for any preparation, isn't it?
No, sir.
Yes,
10
sir.
days, 10 days enough, ne?
Enough, sir.
Good, good. Because next weekend will be Christmas weekend, 25th and 26th. Therefore, 18th or 19th will be ideal.
Yeah, that's okay, sir.
Very good.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sorry for the interrupt. 17th and 18th and 19th, sir, because of going for the vacation.
You're going for
That's the
vacation.
case. Yeah, sir. Already planned. So, almost planned. That's why, sir.
Are you in a position to shift that to next weekend, 25th? You can do the exam and go for vacation on the 25th and 26th.
25th. 25th?
Because now 25th and 26th, most of you all will be on vacation for Christmas weekend.
So, but almost planned for next week. So, that's why.
Other alternative will be January. Do you want to drag this out to January?
Yeah, sir. Better to put January, so it's easy. Because of that, the Christmas vacation, the Christmas also to celebrate, so to no time.
Yeah, just please try and see whether you can shift it to the 25th, your vacation, 25th to 26th.
But it's January, it's okay, sir. January.
January is okay.
Yes, sir.
How about others? Anybody has any objection to dragging this on to January for the exam?
No, sir, January is okay.
So we prefer January as well, sir.
Oh,
Yeah. Due to the long holidays, we might not be able to prepare for the exams.
okay. I'll have chat with the seniors as well. Okay. Then Tilini and Kassapa, are you all ready to do the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you may start.
Yes.
Your topic is falling foreign reserves and economic penetration of financial institutions, right?
No, sir. The fall in CBSL reserves and the economy.
Okay. Falling CBSL reserves
CBSL
and
reserves and the economy.
the economy. Okay.
So, shall we start now?
Yes, again, the falling CBSL reserves
Yes,
and the economy.
and the economy.
Okay, you may start, please. Kasapa, Asantika, and then Madhushika, right?
Yes, sir.
Who's going to start? Who's going to start, Trini?
I will start, sir.
Yes. Yeah,
Good
go
evening,
ahead.
everyone. On behalf of Peter Chapman and Company, allow me to extend a warm welcome to you. Let me introduce our group members first. Asiri, Nipuni, and myself. I'm Kirini, and I would like to talk to you about our group presentation. First and foremost, we offer our sincere gratitude to our lecturer, Mr. Ratnayaka, and next would be each and every one of us who contributed to complete this assignment. So our topic is the fall in CBSL reserves and the economy. Now I will pass Nipuni to continue the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Tilini.
Nipuni.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nipuni. Our choice is the falling CBSE reserves and the economy. In this assignment, I have done executive summary, introduction, legal framework of reserves, and conclusion. So about the executive summary, in this assignment, I will explain impact due to the falling CBSE reserves, what are the reasons for falling of the reserves and how to manage and increase current CBSE reserves in Sri Lanka. Hello. My introduction is about how CBSL manage foreign reserves and the importance of managing the reserves to generate income, because CBSL is the sole authority to manage the reserves in the country. Next, legal framework of reserves. I have mentioned 6 topics for the legal framework of reserves. There are many legal framework of reserves, but I have mentioned current regulation that I feel most important at this current moment related to the falling reserves, falling CBSL reserves. There are special deposits account, outward remittances for capital transactions, release of foreign exchange for travel purpose, relief measure for foreign exchange borrowers, remittance of studies and short-term visits, payment restrictions for import of non-essential goods. For example, payment restrictions for import of non-essential goods, which is the legal restrictions for save the CBSA reserves in this kind of situation. Now to continue our presentation, I'll let Tilini to take over. Tilini.
Okay, thank you, Nipuni. I would like to, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Yes,
go ahead. Can you hear?
Okay, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you all, my contributed part of this assignment. My section is divided into 3 parts. Let me begin by explaining why reserves should be managed. Countries use foreign currency reserves to keep a fixed rate value, maintain competitively priced exports, remain liquid in case of crisis, and provide confidence for investors. They also need reserves to pay external debt, afford capital to fund sectors of the economy, and profit from diversified portfolios, uh, and support and maintain confidence in the policies for monetary and exchange rate management, support for the country's external transaction, example, exports and imports of goods, provide a level of confidence to markets that the country can meet its external obligations, assist the government in meeting its foreign exchange needs and external debt obligations, and maintain a reserve for national disaster for emergencies. Some countries use their reserves to fund sectors such as infrastructure. Hence, the effective utilization of the reserves is crucial, and it has heightened the need of managing reserves prudently. Second topic is core reasons for falling of CBSL reserves. In this part, I'll focus on three major issues. They are currencies of agreement with China, money printing and inflation, and finally COVID-19 and its impact. First, I'll start with currencies of agreement. A significant depreciation on the Sri Lankan rupee has been noticed after entering into a currencies of agreement with China. The People's Republic of China remains Sri Lanka's largest source of imports. In 2020, imports from China amounted to US $3.6 billion. Swap facility amounting to CNY 10 billion, approximately US $1.5 billion. The agreement is valid for a period of 3 years. Since the swap was in yuan, the government can only use that money to pay import bills. The demand for dollars remain high in the open market, and there is less demand for yuan, as no currency is dealing with such currency. But adding that the US $400 million currency swap with India had helped the rupee stable for even a small period. Another significant reason is money printing and inflation. Based on our findings, I use graphs to explain this in assignment. Money printing authority should print money only to match the value of overall transaction in the economy. If money is printed and released over and above the required amount, the result will be the increased demand for goods and services, creating inflationary pressure in the economy. A good example of this is CCPI-based inflation increased to 7.6% in October 2021. Therefore, the main responsibility of central bank is maintaining the country's aggregate stock of money in such a way that does not create inflationary pressure tolerable level. The central bank has printed 213.48 billion rupees on 29 July. Central bank data show, and the highest amount to be printed by the country so far this year. The money had been printed a day after Sri Lanka settled a USD 1 billion bond payment. Next reason is COVID-19 and how its impact. Since March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has all but halted movement across the world and dominated global headlines. The government revenues were also far short of target as pandemic curves hurt economic activity. The country was under an extended lockdown amid a record rise in COVID caused by the Delta variant. As well as the pandemic, Sri Lanka has been facing a borrowing crisis. Sri Lanka is facing a severe foreign exchange crisis after the pandemic hit the island nation's earnings from tourism and remittances. The tourism industry, which represents over 10% of the country's gross domestic product and brings in foreign exchange, has been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic. As a result, forex reserves have dropped from over $7.5 billion in 2019 to around $2.8 billion in July this year. With the supply of foreign exchange drying up, the amount of money that Sri Lankans have had to shell out to purchase the foreign exchange necessary to import goods has risen. So the value of Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated by around 8% so far this year. I think the graph perfectly showed how CBSA reserves are falling in our assignment. I would like to move on to my next part is impact falling of reserves to the economy. First point is imports from other countries will become expensive and exporters will get more rupees of the goods they export. With this situation, we expect that imports will decrease and exports will increase, which boosts our economy. But in reality, continuous depreciation of the rupee worries importers, and thereby they buy more stock in advance to avoid paying a higher price in the near future. This causes more demand for the dollar. Second point is traders will prefer to export goods rather than selling them in domestic market. This will increase the price in domestic markets. Along with that, as importers are costly, imported goods will become expensive. As a result of this entire process, inflation occurs. When inflation is too high, sales will be dropped, affecting the country's economy. The rise in inflation will reduce savings from people. This will negatively impact the country's economy because savings and investment are extremely important for economic growth. Fourth point is repaying the foreign debt will become much more expensive. This will increase the burden on the Sri Lankan economy. A good example for this is Moody's Investor Service has 28 October downgraded the debt ratings to CAA2 from CAA1 under review for downgrade. Finally, I would like to say, though we cannot control some factors like increasing crude oil prices, trade wars, and etc., we can take some steps to strengthen the rupee or at least or prevent further fall of the value of our currency. Steps to retain the trust of investors, attract more FDI, reducing the dependence on imports by encouraging the domestic manufacturing industry, investing more in the development of renewable energy resource to reduce crude oil imports will help in strengthening reserves. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. I will pass Asif to continue. Asif?
Okay.
Thank you, Thirini. Thank you, Thirini. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Kasapa. Good evening.
Relevant to the topic we were assigned, subheading I was assigned was fluctuation of central bank reserve, how to manage and increase central bank reserve, and benefit of managing a larger foreign reserve. In the first subheading, I did a small comparison of central bank reserve during before and during the pandemic. That means 2019 up to today. In here, I took the 2020 figures will be changed because the figures I took when I make the report, that was the figures in the central bank page. Now it is little change. In the 2019, in year 2019, before the pandemic, central bank was able to manage 7.65 billion reserves, and also in 2020, during the pandemic period, central bank's reserves had been received only by 2 billion. Compared to 2019, it is 26.01% reduction. When it comes to year 2021, according to central bank update, when I was made the report, central bank reserve was 2.58 billion, but now it is 2.27. But I do onto the my figures because there's some percentage I took. Percentage I took when I was made the report. Compare the 2019 to 2021, it was 66.27 reduction of the central bank reserve. And even though the import expenses had been decreasing 2019 to 2021, percentage-wise export expenses had been increased. So, import expenses had been increased compared with the foreign income of the each year. Because even the import expenses in 2019, it was 17.7 billion, and 2020, 15.99, and 2021, it was 11.724 billion. And but the total, compare the total income of the foreign income, it has been increased percentage wise. And the next subheading is how to manage and increase central bank reserve. Here I only discussed only three major points. That is, make restriction for imports, increase the export, and send professional instead of laborers and housemaid. Make in the first First point is make restriction for imports. One of the major decisions government can take to prevent the further reduction of central bank reserve is to reduce the import of the goods and products which can be made inside the country. Even though present government has taken this decision, the government has not been able to develop internal production. As an example, recently government stopped the import of chemical fertilizer and told farmers to use the organic fertilizer like compost for their agricultural purpose. But when the decision was made, country didn't have surplus of sufficient supplies of organic fertilizer. Then there was a huge collision created between the government and the farmers. Therefore, it is responsibility of government to, before restrict the imports of essential product, create sufficient production of the respective product in the country. The increasing the productivity in the country is essential to reduce the imports. For that, government can intervene in so many ways: lending concessionary loans, tax relief, offering required guidance and technical support, and also, most importantly, encourage to increase the productivity are some of the things that government can do for the development of the productivity in the country. And my second point is increase the export. I'm not discussing about the ordinary export, like tea, rubber, or coconut. I'm saying the increase the export. And Sri Lanka gained considerable amount of foreign income through export. But the thing is, most of the export we send as a raw materials. Instead of exporting raw materials, if the raw materials can be subjected to some value addition process and export those as finished product, it could be possible to gain a higher income. Sri Lanka, as an example, Sri Lanka is a country rich with mineral resources. Epala phosphate deposit, Ulmude ilmenite deposit, and graphite mines are some of the most valuable mineral resources belong to Sri Lanka. These mineral resources are exported as raw material, but the government can commence the factories with the support of private sector which make finished product from those raw materials. This will increase the foreign income and will be a good solution to reduce the unemployment rate in Sri Lanka. And my third point is send professionals instead of laborers and housemaids. Workers' remittance are one of the main foreign income gaining method of Sri Lanka, but most of it comes through laborers and housemaids. However, the laborers and housemaids have the low job security and low income, but professional workers have higher job security and higher income. Therefore, sending professionals is more prudent than sending laborers and housemaids. And my third subheading is benefit of managing a larger foreign reserve. I made 5 points in here. Ability to make debt installment without a delay. Here I want to say, if the government short with the dollar to pay the debt installment, can take the dollars from the reserve and make the payment. And my second point is, by intervening the exchange market, can stabilize the local currency exchange rate. In here, if rupees start depreciate against the dollar, then the central bank can sell its dollar reserve and buy the rupee in order to stop the depreciation. And my third point is repayment credibility will be enhanced and foreign countries won't hesitate to lend money. And this is a parallel point to first one. Even though if we don't have if you're managing a larger foreign reserve than the foreign country, we have the capacity to pay the debt installment, even though it be short on dollars. And my fourth point is increase the overall national resistance to financial risks. It is one of the good example what Sri Lanka are doing today, because with the issue is Sri Lanka has a small amount of foreign reserve. Then but if we can increase our amount of our foreign reserve, then it will be able to increase the overall national interest and resistance to financial risk. And my last point is ability to lend into another countries and earn interest. If you have larger reserve, no point to keep them in the CBSL account because no one is paying any interest for that. I think if you have 20 billion reserve and 20 billion reserve, even in the 1 month period, it won't be increased because 20 billion will be in the 20 billion. But if we can lend that to another foreign country who needs dollars, we can earn interest from that. These are the benefits of managing large reserve discussed. Thank you. And I invite Mukul to the conclusion.
Okay. Kasapa, just a small correction.
Yes, sir.
Now, central bank reserves are managed by the central bank itself. Now, when the central bank reserves currently 2 billion or something outstanding,
yes, sir.
They are actually managed. They are invested. They buy the US bonds or whatever, or lend to the other countries, other banks, and so on and so forth. They are not kept idle. They earn interest. Only accusation was that during the regime of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and then the governor was also Mr. Ajit Newell Cabral. At that time, their central bank had bought some Greek bonds. You heard? That's also an investment, but inferior quality investment. But still, there were some returns. So what I want to tell you is that when the reserves are there, they are managed. They are invested and managed. There is a return. Okay, Kasapa.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Asiri. In the conclusion, I have mentioned that CBSL has taken to get the economy back on track. For example, port city development and to finish it of vaccination strategy and success of it will help the economy, citizen and tourists to enjoy life and generate inflows. Thank you, sir.
That's all, is it?
Yes.
Any point that you need to add? Any of you, Tilini or Kasapa or Madhushika? No? Now, a few points here. I think Kasapa raised some valid points where how to increase the foreign reserves, value-added products, and then various other things. I think I discussed with you all at the classes several other things, such as export of education, for example. I think I took the example of Institute of Bankers itself. If the Institute of Bankers as an education service provider, if they can issue degrees, I think there is an endeavor to make the Institute of Bankers to grant degree certificates to the successful participants of after following certain degree courses. At the moment, they don't. They are not eligible to grant a degree certificate, but there is some amendments needed for their stature. Those have to be corrected. Now, likewise, like in the case of Institute of Chartered Accountants and various other educational institutions, tertiary education institutions, and several universities. I think there are 17 universities in Sri Lanka. then there is a possibility. I'm talking of all the disciplines like not only banking, engineering, medicine, commerce, and even any other subject, electronic engineering, the courses, value-added courses are offered by the Moroto University and so forth. If we can stop our Sri Lankan young adults going out to other countries like Australia or UK for education after their parents paying colossal amounts of money, drain of foreign exchange, the tertiary education institutions should be able to attract students from foreign countries, at least from neighboring countries, Pakistan, India, Maldives, and several other countries as well. Then they can earn foreign exchange. that is quite a successful way of increasing the foreign reserves. I think I cited the example of Australia. They are second or third largest revenue earner for the country, for the national income, is export of education. So why cannot Sri Lanka universities and the tertiary education institutions gear up and then offer quality programs, degree programs to the young adults, firstly to Sri Lankans, to stop them going overseas after paying large sums of money, then to attract foreign students and charge them foreign exchange. So those are the alternatives that we have to increase our foreign reserves. And when I think all three of you, please take a note that whatever the inward remittances, whether the export proceeds or worker remittances or any other grants, they first come to the commercial banks. And if it is going to, even through unauthorized system like Hawala Undial, those guys maintain accounts with the banks. And the banks, however, purchase the foreign exchange coming in, and they settle internally within them to match the sales for imports and outer remittances, and any residual balances, they sell it to the interbank market. The interbank market, if it is saturated, then the excess is sold to the central bank, and the central bank at their buying rate, and then thereby the central bank reserves increase. This is the mechanism of financing foreign trade or foreign transactions. And in the case of imports, the financing of imports, all the banks, when the imports are to be financed, what they do is they first look at their export proceeds or inward remittances to finance them within their books from other customers. And then if there is more to be purchased, they go then tap the interbank market from other banks who have excess amount of foreign currency. They purchase foreign currency. They may purchase it directly, or they may go through brokers and buy the foreign currency through the brokers. And finally, if they cannot finance fully, then they have to go to the central bank to buy them at the central bank selling rate. So the central bank reserves deplete if the financing is done. That is the reason why, as you all explained, central bank restricted during the pandemic period. The restrictions came for import of luxury goods, especially motor vehicles. Motor cars imports was stopped by the government itself, so that whatever $1 or $2 billion spent for import of motor vehicles was stopped being financed through the depleting foreign reserves. The major explanation that I was looking for from your assignment is how could the Forex community, or how could the Forex market contribute to increase or attract foreign reserves and sustain the economic growth, sustain the economy. As you all quite rightly explained, as long as there is a bigger chunk of imports and the smaller, comparatively 1/3 of imports is being exported, natural phenomena is the rupee to depreciate because of demand and supply. So the contribution that the Forex markets, the professionals in the foreign exchange market, especially money brokers and the dealers in the banking community, they could make the volumes in the market bigger by innovation through products, new products to the Forex market, and then providing professional advice to the corporates who are in the business of manufacturing goods and services, maybe for domestic consumption or to export markets. And thereby the foreign exchange, Forex community, Forex markets could add value and support the economy through enhancing foreign reserves. The perennial problem that Sri Lanka have been having since of independence is that diminishing productivity. I think during the period of Prime Minister, the first lady Prime Minister in the world, Mrs. Sirma Bandaranaike, and then to some extent Prime Minister Dudley Senanayake, there were industries like paper corporation, salt corporation, steel corporation, and cement corporations, cement manufacturing concerns, and Kakasanture and Hambantota, and then various other places, and sugar corporation in Kantale. And then also textile corporation in Tulluriya and Veyangoda. So though they were actually producing goods and services for firstly to the domestic market, and secondly to the export market. And those were by the subsequent government, leading politicians subsequently came to power. They did not improve those, but they saw that most of them were sold to private sector. Selling to private sector is all right, but they did not provide adequate incentives for them to continue in business. Whether it's government sector managed or public sector management or the private sector management, the enterprises within Sri Lanka, manufacturing concerns within Sri Lanka should have been given encouragement to produce more and more, not to make them shut down or close down. So these are the perennial problems that we have had. So I guess you reckon what you have missed in your writing, the assignment. So everything in the spirit of gathering knowledge here. So may I ask others to for their comments, either on the presentation that you heard today or any presentation that were presented yesterday? Any comments from anyone? Or any questions other than the exam date? Now you are requested for January. Any comments? Any questions? No?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyway, this brings us to now anyone who have not made any presentations? Anybody who have not made any presentations? No. Okay. Anyway, this brings us to the conclusion of the course. We have covered the syllabus, stipulated syllabus, and much more. As I was telling you, that online sharing of knowledge, the volume of knowledge shared, the factual content had been immensely increased than when we meet physically at a classroom. Because what happens is when you meet at a physical classroom, eventually there are jokes being shared and then various other things happen other than the traveling time and the expenses. So therefore, the course have been this time around the content of as far as the content of the course have been is concerned, is a great success. However, there were instances that we need to think around and improve in future courses. We will definitely recommend to the Institute of Bankers to make adjustments for the course in future courses. At the same time, on my personal note, I want to thank each and every one of you for cooperating with me and then learning at whatever the difficulty, undergoing whatever the difficulties that came across. There were several interruptions because of COVID and then because of my personal issues. And then for all the sharing of difficulties and then overcoming them, that is also a learning curve, learning process to manage the society and then peers in your whatever the projects and whatever concerns that you undertake. So thank you very much again, each and every one of you, for tolerating my weaknesses at times, and then at the same time making your assignments and then sitting for the exam, and then in some cases your contribution have been far in excess than my expectation in some aspects. So thank you very much for all that. And then also I must also thank your seniors, the management of each company, for coordinating with us. And this appreciation goes from not only myself, from the Institute of Bankers also, especially to your seniors who readily responded with their ideas and then with their thoughts in managing certain issues. So thank you very much, all the seniors. And this is about the 5th or 6th program that we conducted for the money broking community. I must appreciate all round who really helped us, including the Central Bank of Sri Lanka in Domestic Operation Division, the Senior Assistant Director, and then Assistant Director, who helped us on the Central Bank point of view to share knowledge with you. And then my humble appeal to each and every one of you is to continue your further professional education and then get together not only within your own company, but as a community together, and then try and develop, try and introduce new products, try and introduce new mechanisms. And let's see that the Sri Lanka and then the Sri Lankan economy and then the Colombo financial market develop further and further. So thank you very much, each and every one of you, once again. And then on behalf of Institute of Bankers, Ms. Gudakanda, the Director General, Mr. Karnatilaka, and then Ms. Gudakanda, Director, and then Mr. Menaka, Assistant Director. And from me, thank you very much once again. Does anyone want to speak? Anyone want to comment, speak? No? Okay, then let me have a further discussion with the Institute of Bankers and let you know the fresh date for the examination. And as we discussed and agreed, there are going to be 2 exam papers. One is MCQ and another paper, not a very long paper, a very short paper on written answer questions. So we can have the 2 exams on one of the same day. And because of your work involvement, Institute of Bankers will organize the exam on a Saturday or a Sunday, as we did before. All right. So if anyone wants to make any comment, this is the time. Otherwise, we can conclude the session.
Sir, for the written paper, we are getting from the semester 1 onwards, no?
Yes, and the entire course.
Entire course.
Entire course, that's right. Not a very long paper. It will be only a few questions. Number of questions given in the question paper can be about 4 or 5, but you might be requested to answer about 2 or 3 maximum. Written exam. Okay. Any other comment? Anybody?
Sir, can't we do some revision?
Are you going to do some revision?
Yes, sir. Because don't know what the questions will come from the written exam.
But
So,
I think you have the presentations also uploaded to
Yeah.
the Google Class, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
And the discussion recordings are also there, isn't it?
Yeah, record it, sir.
Mr. Chandikalenage is he in office?
Sorry, sir. No idea.
Chandikalenage? He's not
No,
in
sir,
office.
he left, sir.
He left. I was trying to contact him. His phone is also out.
Shall I tell him to call you on mobile, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, sir, I'll do, sir.
So going through the Google Class and then listening to the lectures, recorded ones, it's not a problem, right? And I think I shared a lot of information through WhatsApp as well, isn't it?
Not WhatsApp, sir. From Google Class.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Sorry, that's right. I was mixing up with my university courses. I do some lectures for university students. Just give me a minute, please. So, boys and girls, you heard what the Manipur Association has to say. In fact, they were telling me sometime back as well, they need to conclude the course within the year. So now he is expressing his sentiments and eagerness to conclude the course in 2021 and not dragged on to 2022. So Mahil, you or someone in your company wanted to go on a vacation. Is there any possibility? Please try and make alternative date arrangements, please.
So better to do that weekdays.
Weekdays is possible?
Weekdays, okay, sir. Saturday, Sunday, not sure. That's why I already planned. So that's why I let you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for telling us in advance. Otherwise, it would have been.
Yeah, because of the struggle. That's why, sir. The one thing is no
weekdays. What time and then what date is possible?
So I want to decide, sir, because I will want to decide.
No, I mean suggestions, please. So weekdays you all are busy in office.
Yeah, sir.
So weekdays, if you want to sit for the exam, it is going to be in the evening. After office,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because the 16 of you are involved.
Yes.
So what time could you start on a weekday? What time you could reach into the bankers at Borella, Narayanpeta Road, Borella?
6:30.
6:30?
6, sir. Better 6.
6. So if it is going to be 2 papers, say 1 hour for MCQ and then another 1.5 hour, about 2.5 hours, 6 to 8:30, is it a bearable time?
I think not.
So you have to ask from the others also, no?
Yes, others are online, so they can also comment if there is any problem. Anybody have Anybody having problems if you have the exams on the weekdays, evening? Anybody having a problem?
So weekdays, okay, but the time is?
What should be the time?
5 o'clock?
To start at 5?
Yes.
Yeah, can you reach the Institute of Bankers by 5, Tirani?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're at Pollangoda, right?
No, I'm Moratuwa.
You at Moratuwa. Okay.
Because in night we can't go home.
Yeah. Traveling back home in the night is a
Yes.
issue, isn't it?
Yes.
So if we start at 5, then finishing off by 7:30 or 8, is that possibility?
7, 2 hours?
Okay. All right. 5 to 7, 2 hours, MCQ paper and then written exam paper. That's a workable proposition. 5 to 7 weekday. Any others who have, if we have the exam on 5 to 7 on weekday, is it going to be a problem? Now, when I say weekday, what date of the week you prefer?
After Christmas week?
After Christmas week.
Because we are celebrating Christmas. And 18 also we having carol service in our church.
All right. What we were trying to do is that to finish the exam and let you have the Christmas carols and then enjoyment thereafter.
There's a 29:30 game.
So after enjoying, we do the exams.
Yeah, so 29:30 better.
29 or 30.
29:30, it's okay, sir.
Within the year, no, sir.
Within the end of the year also. So 29:30 better.
Okay, 29th or 30th?
Yes, sir.
28, 29 or 30.
Right, okay. So weekday evening 5 to 7, 29th or 30th?
Yes, sir.
Good. I think somebody had did speak some while ago. I think it was Trevor Gomez. That's okay?
Yes, sir, I'm fine, sir. No worries.
29th or 30th, 5 to 7?
Yeah, no worries.
Super. Okay. At least some consensus. Thank you very much for the support and your ideas. I will discuss with the Institute Bankers and then arrange accordingly.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. Just keep those dates possible, and please don't arrange any vacations on the 20th.
So before already planned before, sir. So that's the case.
No, in your case, but others might all of a sudden say, I have arranged a vacation or a Christmas party. So, Mereka, අකටදින්න මේක?
ඔව් සර්.
මේක දැන් 29 හෝ 30 දවස් දෙකකින් එකක පුළුවන් ද පහින් ලහත වෙන එක්සෑම් එක තියන්න අපිට?
පුළුවන් සර්.
පුළුවන් නේ? හරි. වැඩිය හොඳ 29ද 30ද?
29 දාමු සර්.
29. හොඳයි. All agreeable? 29th?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, sir.
Okay, okay. So then it's a deal, huh? Deal done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, 29th, 5 to 7 exam at the Institute of Bankers, and it's going to be MCQ paper and a written essay type question paper, 1 hour each. 1 hour each, or within 2 hours, the 2 papers to be conducted. All right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, ladies, will you have any problems in traveling after the question paper? No. 7 is not a time, ne? All right. So then, thank you very much. All around. Thank you very much all around.